Welcome to Cinema Sketches. I'm Dan Beasel, and I'm an artist with a love for movies. Finding artistic inspiration can be challenging, so why not draw inspiration from those movies? Watch as I create whatever art the movie inspires, and listen as I share my thoughts on the film. Be sure to like, subscribe, and activate those notifications to help the channel. Today, I'm drawing inspiration from the 2025 film Captain America: Brave New World. Directed by Julius Ona and written by, like 5 different folks because it's a Marvel movie these days. It stars Anthony Mackie, Harrison Ford, Danny Ramirez, Shira Haas, Tim Blake Nelson, and Giancarlo Esposito. The Letterboxd synopsis is as follows. After meeting with newly elected U.S. President Thaddeus Ross, Sam finds himself in the middle of an international incident. He must discover the reason behind a nefarious global plot before the true mastermind has the entire world seeing red. Yeah, we all know what that means. Now let's dive into it. Hey, look, it's gray-toned paper. Well, this is new to me, but I figured I'd give it a shot, and you know what? This project seems like a good use for it. So Captain America: Brave New World has inspired me to draw the classic TV dinner. I'll explain more about that later, but for right now, I'm just using a piece of paper, figuring it out. This is just a scrap piece of paper I had, and I'm just kind of working it out a little bit here. It's not perfect, but hey, I'm forming out the shape where all the food's going to go inside this TV dinner. Rounding off the corners, and with the classic TV dinner, maybe not everybody knows this, but they were made out of aluminum foil, so I definitely want to capture that look for this. You know, as a whole, I enjoy the bulk of all the Marvel media. I watch all the shows, for better or worse. Not all of them are great. Not all the movies are fantastic, but I get where there's a fatigue. I think everybody just kind of got really excited at all the Avengers movies that led up to Endgame, and then after that, what do? It's kind of like a, not to be gross, but a post-coital situation, you're just kind of done doing the deed, and now what? Like, you're just kind of like bored and hungry, and you don't really want to think about it. The story in a nutshell, thanks to that celestial being that's just chilling in the ocean after the events of the Eternals, adamantium is now in the MCU, and all the different countries just want to get their hands on it, and it turns out Japan had a sample, and it got stolen. Oh no. But Sam, who's now the new Captain America, and you know what? If you're not a fan of that, you just got to deal with it. I don't know what to tell you. You know what you are deep down in your heart, and honestly, go read a comic book. Anyway, Ross wants Sam to make a new Avengers team, but only work for him because he's the president, and that's not cool. Superhero teams, shouldn't be working for just one guy, especially the president. So during a visit to the White House with Sam and Joaquin, Joaquin is he's the new Falcon. So they've got a good relationship. I like the way that they work with each other. The actors seem to have good chemistry. But anyway, they go to the White House after saving that adamantium, and they go with the Forgotten Cap, Isaiah Bradley. If you don't know anything about him, I guess you have to see Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show, which actually was pretty decent. Anyway, so Isaiah Bradley and 4 others are somehow triggered and attempt to assassinate Ross during a meeting about the adamantium with some other countries, and it's a big freaking deal, as it would be. So yeah, Isaiah and all these other guys, they get tossed in the prison, and that's not cool, and Sam wants them out, and becomes a huge deal, but the bulk of this is just that the Incredible Hulk movie gets some due finally, because technically that's the first MCU movie and largely forgotten. And I don't know if anybody remembers that, but at the end, Samuel Stearns, he gets a little Banner blood and grows a big old head and gets all weird and gross looking. He's back. Turns out he's been held captive in a bunker to do weapons research for Ross and also make Ross pills to keep him alive, because apparently him being a hot-headed jerk is threatening his life. But turns out, yeah, he was supposed to get pardoned by the president, and that didn't happen, so he's like, you know what, I think I'm gonna get a little revenge and just kind of ruin his reputation. I kind of like the little personal goal here. I mean, it does have larger implications. But I'm just kind of going through here. I am working on that little wrinkly type pressed aluminum foil look of the tray. As you can see here, there's corn, mashed potatoes, a big old Salisbury steak floating around in some gravy, and a little dessert pack in the center. Like a little brownie. Is it gonna be brown? I don't know. Hang out. Anyway, so yeah, Anthony Mackie is Captain America. I like him as Captain America. I like him as an actor. I think he's got a lot of spunk. If you don't like him as Captain America, well, you're gonna have to deal with it, because that's the way it was written and that's the way it's gonna be. And honestly, if you really have any beef with him being a person of color and being a Captain America, then wow, you're really just gonna have to deal with it. But I like him because he turned down getting the super serum, and he has no powers. He just has gadgets, training, and a good heart. And people got an issue with that. Well, guess what? Batman's kind of the same way. And I think that Sam's a little less problematic than a billionaire going out and doing things to fight crime illegally. But I don't really want to get into the politics about that right now. Look at this. Just kind of filling in, making some meat colors. I'm going to do several layers on this here. Sorry about any of the camera jiggles. I don't know. I'm still figuring out my setup here, and thought I had a way to just make it not jiggle, but commence the jiggling. So yeah, Giancarlo Esposito, he's playing Sidewinder, who's a Marvel villain, and he just looks like a dude. And honestly, we're at the point where aliens, gods, and other stuff just exist. I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever seen a picture of Sidewinder from the comics, but classically, just very ridiculous costume. And you know what I say? Give this man the wild costume already. Give all these heroes wild costumes. It's fine. That's what I'm looking forward to with the new Superman movies. Is, you know, just bright and colorful, goofy costumes. Let's go for it. Why not? So yeah, I just kind of did some corn action with some yellows, and on this toned paper, boy, it just ends up looking kind of gross and green. You know what I don't like about these Marvel movies, though? I don't like nano helmets. I feel it's just lazy, and it's fine for some guys if you have a whole costume made out of nanotechnology, I suppose. But man, come on. Like, I know who's underneath there. Even if it is just a stunt guy, it doesn't matter. Keep the helmets on. I'm all pro helmet for our heroes. Sorry about getting out of the view there, but you don't miss much. Filling in a light gray. Look at that. Things are really coming along here. throwing in some shading. You know, the effects in this movie are pretty darn good, especially the end fight. I mean, it's not a surprise. Red Hulk is in this, and clearly he looks like Harrison Ford. So, yeah, that's President Ross. Turns out he's been... all those pills he was taking was just filling them with gamma radiation, and he just becomes mean old Red Hulk. This is making me hungry. Just working up lots of different browns here. Just really trying to find the right tone. I want to add a little bit darker here and there. Still want to highlights to pop on occasion. Again, this is not anything like I pre-planned or I didn't practice this ahead of time. So yeah, you know, like I say, there's going to be some mistakes. There's things I would definitely want to do different by the end. And you know what? That's fine. That's okay. Figuring it out. So I didn't have a red alcohol marker, so I used this permanent marker. You know, in hindsight, probably not the best idea, but I just have to work with it, and I just have to deal with it. I'm trying to just kind of get a little bit of highlight tones and stuff in there. I'm going in with some other colors, trying to blend it in a little, but it doesn't really blend all that great. But I think the idea comes across. Shading some corn. Honestly, this isn't really anything I ever thought I would do. I don't even know if I've ever drawn a pile of corn before. First for everything, I suppose. Add a little browning around the mashed potatoes. Adding some yellow to the gravy and stuff, and man, I don't know about that. It just kind of turns out green. So yeah, I mean, the more I'm kind of going in here and being like, oh no, that's green, and I'm adding other colors and stuff, I feel that I just kind of muddy this up quite a bit. Which, I mean, I guess it's fine. It's gravy and Salisbury steak. But yeah, it's getting a little dark. It's easy to just kind of overwork things. Oh yeah, here I'm going in with a blender. Adding some highlights with some colored pencil here. Now I'm going in with a white brush, and I'm just adding some highlights on the corn, and I think this is really helping the corn pop. And I did not plan on that being a pun. Yeah, overall I think that the acting was fine. It was completely serviceable, but the story was a little bit muddy. I feel I needed to do a little more with Isaiah Bradley, the Forgotten Cap. I love his character. And Cara Lumley is fantastic in the role. Really brings a lot of heart, but he just kind of sits in prison most of the movie and really has nothing to do. I feel he's really interesting, and I'd like to see him in some more stuff. I want to see him do some action stuff. That'd be cool. Because for a guy who's like, I mean, granted he's got super serum in him, and you know, the government experimented on him, and you know, because he's a black man, just didn't really get any respect. So it's a pretty cool storyline. Like I said, Falcon and the Winter Soldier gets into that a little bit more. So yeah, I've gone through, I've used some gel pen, I've added some highlights to everything, and it's really looking more metallic, adding some more shading to my corn. Hey, Harrison Ford didn't phone it in, so that's fun. He actually showed some emotion in this. Yay! Yeah, just gonna add a little more shading here, get a little more depth. Now I could have just left this the way that it is, and you know, maybe in hindsight I probably should have, but I was like, hey, let's go in and let's add a little drop shadow to it. Not that I think it's terrible, but I probably should have gone a little lighter with it, and just going to go in, kind of add some more black lines here to help define it, just because, you know, everything was just kind of getting muddy on this. I probably could have added some highlights to the bottom, but I did not. In hindsight, yeah, maybe I could have. This little corner there on the bottom. Yeah, I just kind of... Hey, I was working fast, and sometimes you do that, and something to look out for, I guess, in the future. So yeah, what did I think? Well, overall, I'm going to give Captain America Brave New World 2.5 out of 5 stars. It is okay. Just like a classic TV dinner, it just gets the job done. You want some food? There you go, you got food. Is it the worst? No, it's not. It's just serviceable. But in the end, you know what? Mackie is the meat. He really kind of is the star of this, obviously, and he does a good job. I like him as Cap. But, you know, the bulk of this movie is corny. That's why we got the corn. And potatoes are white and bland, kind of like the story. Like that fight out by the Celestial with all the jets. It's just very gray and white and bland and not very interesting, even though they do some cool stuff. And then you have where there's some fun with the Red Hulk, and he's the brownie for dessert at the end, even if it is just a little dry. Hey, thanks for watching. Do all the things that help the show grow, and share your thoughts on the movie and what inspires you down in the comments. Check out Corrupted Youth Podcast for more movie discussions with my son Brennan and I. You can find episodes here on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Links are going to be down in the notes. So until next time, art and at hand the world.